Copper Bay versus Moore and Snedderly. Elliot Berlin is here on behalf of the plaintiffs. This is the most expensive rent we have here in St. Joseph County, to my knowledge. This rent is $2,245 per month. This is a house. There were several houses built by the Edwin Allen Company, or Allen Edwin Company, and maybe 20 or more on some lots in Three Rivers. This one, I believe, is where the Parkside restaurant Tasty Freeze was located many years ago. And Copper Bay bought some of these houses and now they're rentals. So Mr. Berlin, what's the current arrearage?
The rent to retain here is actually $0, and then there is other money due from utilities that where there's still a past due balance.
All right, well, let's talk about
utilities and pet fees. There's $299.76.
All right, how much are utilities?
Of that $299.76?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are $224.76, I believe. Yes, $224.76, sorry.
How much are the pet fees?
They're $75 total.
All right, then we have costs of $136. 6657 in service. The $75 statutory attorney fee. 136 filing fee, 6657.
That's correct. I came out with $277.57.
That's what I have. So that's 295.36 plus 277.57.
Sorry, Your Honor, I had $299.76 for the other money due.
99, that's right, 299.76.
Yeah, and I've got a total here if you would like me to read that into the record.
Is $5,077.33.
Yeah, $577.33.
Yeah, 500, not 5,000. All right.
I almost said
you guys have paid a lot of rent, but there's a pet fee of $75. Three Rivers has substantial utility fees, $224.06, plus the filing fee, service fee, and attorney fee. Total is $577.33. Now, the law requires that I adjourn this matter for 10 days and, or excuse me, 7 days, which would take us to next Friday. Do you think you can pay that within 7 days?
So I applied for DHS assistance. They basically told me to ask for a 10 days matter. Because it's still in the progress of getting the rest of the rent paid. I just really fell behind because of the late fees. I have my bills that have already got transferred into my name.
How much are the late fees?
The dollar amount in the judgment that we just read does not include any late fees. So
Right.
there's usually a difference between what they might see in the portal and what we ask for in a judgment, and that difference is always the late fees.
Well, let's look at the docket. I don't know if DHS is going to give you any assistance on a house that's this expensive. If they do, great, but I didn't think they.
And I did contact Neighborhoods of Battle Creek in
Neighborhoods
Centerville.
Inc., yes.
And I'm just on wait to see which one's gonna go first. But I just talked to DHS yesterday, and they said they're going through, and I should be hearing something back in less than 10 days.
Okay.
And also, the gas bill was switched into our name, and I want to say UCAP is called. It's going to help us transfer our water into our name also.
All right.
So utilities will be out of Copper Bay's name by the end of the week, should be.
All right, very good. Well, let's continue this for 7 days to next Friday. February 13th at 11:15.
And they
Does that
want,
work?
how much by then?
577.33. Now, Mr. Berlin, is the rent through February 0?
That's correct.
All right, very
They've
good.
actually caught up on the rent and part of their past due utilities, and
I'm
so what
trying
we
to
have here is
best I
just
can,
the
Your Honor.
balance.
Mr. Moore, they claim that $224 of utilities, $75 in pet fees, and court costs of $277.55 for a total of $577.33. That would bring you current through February. Now, we're going to discuss this
577.33.
further next Friday morning. If you're current, the case could simply be dismissed. If you're not, I would give you 10 additional days to pay it or be subject to being evicted.
Okay, Your Honor. Thank you.
But you guys have made a big dent on this, and so I think you'd probably like to keep this. But it's said the most expensive rentals we have, at least to come to my attention. So we'll address this next Friday at 11:15.
11:15 next Friday?
Yep, by Zoom once again. You both did fine with your Zoom. So I'll see you next Friday, and we'll see how you do between now and then.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Copper Bay versus Fitterling and Fitterling. Fitterlings are not present. Mr. Berlin, what do you know about this?
We would like to request a default judgment, and we do have personal service. I can read the amounts into the record. I show rent to retain possession of $5,684.27. Other money due consisting of utilities and NSF reversal charges of $654.04 and court costs of $309.10. So the total possession judgment amount would be $6,647.41. Also requesting a money judgment. The money damages amount with prorated rent is $4,849.38. Court costs of still the $309.10, and so the total money judgment would be $5,158.48.
We've had a very hectic morning, as I mentioned. Let's make sure we don't. I check in to see if we have any civil litigants out there, landlord-tenant, John or Lindsay Fitterling. All right, thank you. Bye. All right. We do have personal service on both. Ms. Hill, do you believe they're still there?
Yes, I do.
This is Mackenzie Street in White Pigeon. This is a different property, but rents are still substantial, $1,895 per month. All right, by default as to both parties, Well, the numbers you stated on the record are what's in the judgment you provided, which I do appreciate having that. 5,684.27, 654.04 in utilities and NSF fees. Costs of 309.10 for a total of 6,647.41. That's due in 10 days from today, which would be February the 16th. Money judgment is entered at this time. The amount of 4,849.38. 309.10 in cost for a total of 5,188.48. The date for the appeal is 2/16. Let me look at the proof of service, see if Sergeant Morse had any insight. No, he simply served them at that address on January 17th. All right, Mr. Berlin, I've issued your judgment by default and the money judgment.
All right, thank you very much, Your Honor.
All right, of course, if they move and trash the place, that may be your one shot at money damages, but we'll hope for the best.
Absolutely.
This is filed as a demand for non-payment of rent. Mr. Fleeman, what's the status here?
Your Honor, it looks like, sorry, I'm looking at a ledger balance, $1,285.
We're having trouble hearing you.
Oh, hang on. Is that better?
Little.
Really? How do I turn that up? Let me see if I have any control over that. I don't think I do. I will try to speak
Meg, are you
loudly.
having trouble too, or is it just me?
He's definitely quiet, much quieter than the others.
I thought
That's
she was
because
much
he's such
quieter
a
than
quiet
normal.
gentleman.
Okay, Judge,
All
I
right,
will.
what's our
All
arrearage?
right. I'm looking at $1,285 in rent through February. Court cost $239.87. Total of $1,524.87. Last payment I am showing is January 28th for $500. So if Miss Boyer has made a payment after that, I don't have it on the ledger yet.
Yeah. Wednesday night or Thursday morning, I made a payment of 700. So I owe like 587 or something, which I will have Wednesday night when I get paid again.
All right, very good. On 2-4.
And
Well, the law says we have to adjourn this matter for 7 days.
Okay.
So we're going to continue this. Let me see, Mr. Fleeman, you might be here already on the 13th.
well, and Judge, it sounds like this is a perfect case for a conditional dismissal. You want to throw us into a breakout room so I can get Miss Boyer's contact information and discuss that concept with her briefly?
Yes, let's do Ms. Ulch first.
Okay.
Well, I'll put you in the breakout room and then I'll advise Ms. Ulch of her rights as a tenant. So Ms. Boyer, I'm going to put you in a private space where you can speak with Mr. Fleeman and exchange some information. Conditional order of dismissal, I mentioned it in the introduction, but it's a way to dismiss the case without having it go on your record and having a resolution. So let me put you guys both in the breakout room and then I'll advise Ms. Ulch of her rights.
All right. Thank you.
I'll stay here.
Okay.
But I'm going to need to reset that. Ms. Ulch, can you hear me?
I can.
All right, let me see who else is here. Maple Crest Manager and Pamela Smith of Three Rivers. All right, she's here on behalf of Three Rivers Village. We don't have any other. Brianne Ellsworth, which case are you here on? She's on
With
Three
Pamela
Rivers
Smith.
versus Ellsworth. All right, well, good. All right, Miss Ellsworth. Miss Ulch,
Yes.
you are defendants in landlord-tenant cases. As such, you have certain rights. some of these involve mobile homes, which are a little different, but no matter what kind, let's see who this iPhone is. All right, someone's joined us as iPhone. You're on mute. Who am I speaking with?
My bad. I was trying to get it to, I couldn't find the piece.
All right. And you're Zaya Park?
Zalia Parker.
Zalia Park. All right, very good. Let me give you a name. Oops. This part case is a second hearing, so she's heard her rights, but she might as well hear them again. Everyone here that's a defendant, Miss Ellsworth, Miss Ulch, Miss Park. This is a hearing where your landlord either wants you to pay the rent and move, or they simply want you to move. In such a case, you have the right to hire a lawyer. If you cannot afford an attorney, you can ask legal aid to represent you or seek other legal representation. Attorney Meg Bauer from Legal Aid is here on the live feed and available for consultation if needed. You have a right to have the case heard here in St. Joseph County where the property is located. You have a right to demand a jury trial. If you wish to have a jury trial, you must tell the court at this first appearance or make the demand in writing within 5 days of today's date and pay the $50 jury demand fee unless the judge waives it for your inability to pay it. If your landlord has asked you to be evicted from a residential property because you haven't paid rent, you may be able to get assistance from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, Community Action Agency, Neighborhoods, Inc., or a veterans program if you are eligible for veterans benefits. You should have received that information on local rental and housing assistance with the summons. You do not need a judgment against you to get help from the places listed above. A copy of the summons and complaint from your case are sufficient. You may be able to reach an agreement with the landlord by going through mediation. If both parties are interested, the court can help set that up. And you may be able to reach a conditional order Dismissal, as Mr. Fleeman is working on with Ms. Boyer. And if that happens, we can assist with that. Mr. Fleeman, my suggestion is we continue Ms. Boyer to next Friday at 11:30.
Turn to the 13th, right?
Yes.
2/13 at 11:30. Okay. And
Is
you
that
are
acceptable with you, Ms. Boyer?
We had spoke about doing it till the, what was it, the 20th?
Well,
Sir?
I'm doing a conditional dismissal, giving her until the 23rd, which would be 10 days past the 13th. So I'm gonna send that to her today. So most likely we'll get that wrapped up and.
If the conditional order of dismissal is entered, you won't need to appear. But if it
Okay.
isn't, we'll record on February 13th at 1:30.
Okay, I wasn't understanding, sorry.
You said 1:30 or 11?
Our next Fleeman case. He's a partner in the Casey Strong and Strong firm. Strong, and then a couple other guys, Bradshaw and
Yeah.
Fleeman. This is file 26-50. It's entitled Walt. Oh, that was Boyer. We just did it.
Am I good to go now, sir?
Yes, you are.
All right, thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.
It's Walnut Meadows versus Ulch. Ms. Ulch is here. I had an opportunity to advise her of her rights while Mr. Bradshaw was talking with another client. This is also a demand from non-payment of rent at Walnut Meadows. Now, let me make a minute here. I don't know if the manager is here at Walnut Meadows.
Should be looking for Judy. Is Judy here?
What's our circumstance here, Mr. Fleeman?
For Miss Ulch, I am showing rent $870, court cost $240.09. I do show a payment being posted on the 2nd of February for 800. So if she has made any payments after that 800, I don't have them yet.
Ms. Alch, could you hear that?
Yes, I made a payment of $920 yesterday.
Hmm.
And Judge, that's gonna
Well-
go real close.
That'll get you real close. So we're gonna continue this also. 870 plus 2409, 240.09. I get a total of 1,110.09. So you paid 800 on 2/2, which got you almost current. If you paid 920 yesterday, you're almost where you need to be. So we'll also continue this.
Well, how much more do I owe, you said?
Well, if you paid 920, you owe $90.09. Let me subtract 1110.09 minus 920 is $190.
That's
Okay.
what I get also, Judge. And if you would put us in a breakout room, I'll get Ms. Alch contact information and send her.
Well, I'm gonna
conditional
continue
dismissal.
this to February 13th at 11:30. And I'll put you guys in the breakout room.
Thank you. And do you want
Ms.
us,
Alch, this should put you in there automatically when you're just by phone, so let's hope it works.
Okay.
And Mr. Freeman, you can just join.
and do you want us to leave the meeting when we're done? Because that's my last case. You
Either
don't want us
way,
to
I'll
come
be
back.
here.
I'm
You
sorry?
can come back.
Okay, we'll come back.
This was a non-payment of rent case. We determined at that time that through February, the rent was $2,285 and $186.45 for a total of $2,471.45. Mr. Knopfinger, what's the current status here?
Yeah, Judge, that's changed ever so slightly. Obviously, the filing fee, the service and attorney's fees remain unchanged. However, the total arrears with rent and late fees is now $2,354
Through when?
through today.
And then 186.45
Yes.
in cost. Let's add that up. 2,540.45 cents. What's the cause for the cost to go up that much in a week?
A couple things, there were late fees. I think they were unaccounted for. I just compared my numbers with Kelly, who is on here. If you want to speak to that, Kelly.
Yes, so I've got her at the office, I've got her tenant ledger up. And Ms. Parker moved in February 10th of last year. She paid 3 times within that period of time. The last payment we received was July 14th. Since
That's
then,
5 months, 6 months. I'm sorry.
She paid once April 4th, she paid once April 12th, and she paid once on July 14th. We have not received any payments since then, and she has been assessed late fee charges. In addition, Your Honor, I was not able to speak last week. I'm not sure if there was something wrong with the microphone, but she had mentioned that her income had been reduced. Ms. Parker lives in a Section 8 subsidized property. Her rent is based upon her income. She not once has come to notify the site office, emailed or left any messages stating that her income was reduced. Had we known that, we would have been able to adjust her rent accordingly to 30% of her monthly income. She has failed to respond to any attempts that we have taken in by leaving notices on her door, in envelopes, messages, emails. And so at this point in time, she's not done anything to comply to the terms of her lease agreement as far as rent payment and recertification goes.
All right, well, Ms. Park, I guess this was bound to happen. If you've only paid your rent 3 times in a year, haven't made any payments since July, that there would be a shortfall. Your rent is not very high. It's $272 per month. But you need to pay this large amount or you're subject to being evicted. What's your response?
I did try calling them, but nobody would pick up. I tried calling them a couple times, like.
I've done that for 3 months, 6.
Did you ever walk over to the office to talk to anybody?
Yeah, I looked for, like, when I look out my window, you can see if her car is there. So if her car is not there, then I don't know. Because it was like a while where I would look out the window to see if she's over there and her car just wouldn't be there. So I don't know.
Well, let me ask this. What's your plan? Have you made any plan to move?
Yes, DHS. I'm waiting for them to give me the letter back.
About what?
To see if they'll help me pay it.
Well, right now, I'm gonna tell you, you have to pay that amount of money or you have to move out in 10 days. Your story's pretty weak. You haven't paid any rent since July. It's now February, and you never once talked to the management who's got an office in the complex. A couple of casual phone calls and a drive-by of the complex doesn't really amount to much effort to deal with this. So you're on the precipice of being evicted. If DHS does give you some emergency help, you have to pay the entire amount. So let's say they give you $2,000. You'd still owe $540 additional dollars, or you would be subject to being evicted. You did tell me last week you did get your SSI back.
Yeah.
When?
They had gave it back I think last month. And then they just took it again. So I don't know what they're doing.
All right, so right now you have no income. Well, at minimum, I would recommend you go in and talk to them about recalculating this, but I find you haven't made any effort to get a recalculation. Through February, 2,354, 186.45, and court costs were 2,540.45. You can share that number with DHS. You have 10 days from today to pay that amount or you're subject to being evicted. That's February the 16th. As I told you, a partial payment will not prevent a writ of eviction. No money judgment is entered at this time. And if there's additional damage or cost that could exceed this, you could be responsible for that also. If you do move, you need to turn in your keys and give your forwarding address in writing within 4 days of your moving. So
Okay.
I would that you do the following things. I'd recommend you immediately share this number with DHS, $2,540.45. You'll get a copy of the judgment, but it'll take a few days to get there in the mail. Secondly, I'd recommend you go in to see the management and discuss your circumstances. I don't know whether you're eligible for any sort of recalculation, but you can't just not expect to pay any rent for 7 months and not have a consequence. Third, I would look for another place to move to, because when the sheriff comes and puts your stuff out on the street, it's very unpleasant.
Judge, it may be important to mention too, Kelly, please confirm this, that Kelly told me that she isn't able to retroactively adjust the subsidy. So that
Okay.
amount due, but if Ms. Parker were to cover that amount moving forward, it could be recalculated.
That is correct. HUD does not permit us to do retroactive recertifications. If the tenant
Well,
has not
if you are
reported-
gonna stay, then it's very important if you haven't, you're eligible for a recalculation, but everybody here would like to have a nice apartment for $262 a month. And there's a waiting list of people that would like to have your apartment. So share this with DHS and go talk to your manager, but you're in a tough spot. You're close to being evicted. All right, do you have any questions?
No.
Meg, do you see any benefit in speaking with her?
Judge, I'm always happy to speak with folks, but, so it's up to her.
Do you wish to speak to the attorney from legal aid?
No.
All right, you're good to go, but you're in a tough spot. All right, let's recap where we were last week. We were here on January the 30th. We found, sure what we found. Rent of $378 times 3, $1,134 through January. Utilities of $428.43. They had a very high late fee of $85 a month. That's going to have to be adjusted. Then there was a carryover, and I don't exactly remember what our numbers were, 1,389. Meg wasn't here last week. I think she was coming. And I gave Miss Ellsworth the number of legal aid. So Miss Reed, let's establish what we believe the current arrearage is. And then I can always put her in a breakout room with Ms. Bauer.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. If I remove the overage on the late fees for the 3 months of November, December, and January, 35 times 3 months, that would be removing $105 from her ledger. So that would leave us at about 3,000.
All right. So we also have another month. We're now into February. So
Right.
How much is the rent?
The rent for February is $378. Do you want a total?
All right, so we have 378 times 4 months.
Mhm.
Is 1,512. Late fees of 4 months times 50 is $200. Utilities of $428.43. Is that still accurate?
I've got, that's the only calculation I didn't come up with.
All right, now let's talk about court costs. We got $68 filing fee, $39.48 service fee, and $75 attorney fee. So let me add that up, 1720. Oops, 1712. Plus 428.43 is 2,140.43 if we had our costs of 68 plus 39.48 plus $75 statutory attorney fee, we get 182.48.
The total I have for the water and sewer for the 4 months of November through February is $620.41.
Great, thanks. Now that I've made this whole calculation, I get to change it all. All right. Rent is 1,512. Late fees are $200, 4 months at $50 a month. What's the utility figure now?
The total is $620.41.
And what utilities are those?
Water and sewer.
It's expensive in Three Rivers. All right, let's add that up.
There's also the pet rent that we discussed at the
Tell me if
last.
you're gonna throw in any more numbers
Okay.
here.
All right. So there's pet rent that we discussed last week of $10 per month times 4, which is 40.
All right.
And then the repayment plan that Ms. Ellsworth signed in July of last year. And when we had the hearing in October of last year, you requested that we send you a copy of that for that hearing. So that's $100 per month times 4.
All right. Let's try again. $1,512 plus 200 plus 620.41 plus 40 pet fee plus $400 get a little punchy. Is 2,772.41 through February. Now we got 180.48 in court costs. Gives us 2,952.88. All right, that's what they contend you owe, Miss Ellsworth. This is our second hearing. We did have a case last year where there was some arrearage and then there was a repayment plan. Apparently hasn't worked out. Have you, I don't remember if I asked you, did you ask for any emergency help?
I sent all the information over to Neighborhood Inc. and I'm still just waiting for a reply back. They wanted me to email everything.
Oh, so you're not engaged with Neighborhood Inc. right now?
She told me, I talked to her on the phone. She told me to email her the eviction paper and pay stubs, and that's what I did. And I'm just waiting for a reply back.
All right, well, we'll give you that here in a minute. All right, you wish to speak to Miss Bauer?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, let me put you in a breakout room. I'm going to remove Ms. Ulsh. She's done. All right, Brianna Ellsworth, room 1. Meg Bauer, room 1. All right, you both join. And Miss Reed and Miss Pamela, if you'd stay with me. I'm not sure what defense the defendant is discussing with Meg, but it seems pretty straightforward. Miss Smith, when was rent last paid?
I'm not sure. I'm not.
I can tell you, Your Honor. We discussed last week that there was that $2,186 judgment entered in October of last year. And Ms. Ellsworth indicated she did make that $2,000 payment, and that's the 186 carryover, and no payments have been made since then.
All right. No payment since then. So, okay, November, December, January, February. Well, while we're waiting, this is a second hearing.
I did send all of the information down Friday, late Friday morning after our hearing, to Meg. So she should have everything that I'm looking at in her email. I don't think she probably has had a chance to look at it since I sent it last
lost
Friday.
Page one of this, I think I attached it to something else, so.
Brianna did call me last night and asked me for
Just
an
a minute.
account number
Okay,
to go pay her rent at Walmart, but I still haven't received one. She said she
did you
was waiting.
find
on
that
full money.
page attached to one of these other things?
What are you looking for?
The first page of my notes in Three Rivers Village versus Ellsworth.
Okay.
Let me see if they're over here. All right, the parties are back. We're on hold here. All right, while the parties were in the breakout room, I inquired of Pamela Smith and Sarah Reed when last payment was made by the defendant. Their representation was the same as last time. And no payment's been made since October of 2025. The claim now is that rent through February with late fees, utilities, and pet fees is $2,772.41. Court costs of $180 for a total of $2,952.88. Ms. Reed, do you agree with that?
Your Honor, there was just that we discussed it last week, and Ms. Ellsworth agreed that that judgment from October there was $2,186, and she paid $2,000. So that $186.66 was kind of what we started out with our beginning balance.
But was that included in the 512, or do I need to add? I lost the last week's note page.
Yeah, no, it wasn't, Your Honor. That was just the straight rent
All
from.
right, so do I need to redo this again and add?
Yeah, well, I did it for you while we were waiting.
186.66.
Yes, that plus the 2,772 should be 2959.07.
All right, 22,772.41 plus the unpaid balance of the agreement was 186.66.
Correct.
Which equals, give me that number again.
Sure, 2959.07.
If we add 180.48 to that. You get 3,139.55. Is that what you got?
Yes.
Ms. Bauer, what's and I know you don't represent her. You just consulted with her. Is there anything you wish to add?
Yeah, thank you, Judge. So first, I'll indicate that Attorney Reed
I found
did,
it.
Oh, I just printed another one.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Attorney Reed did preemptively send me some documents last week, so I was keeping an eye open for some contact from the defendants. I hadn't seen any. I double checked again today. At the end of our conversation in the breakout here, I asked them what number they called and when they called, and it turns out I looked at my my call records and I received a 2-second voicemail from a number that was unknown at about the time that they represented that they called. So for some reason, their message didn't save. So they did attempt to contact me right after court last week, it appears. I usually send people to our intake line for that reason. But that said, in conversation with the defendants, we were able to get to the bottom of a number of the issues, but I did identify 2 points of concern. One, I'm not certain that there's a lease between the plaintiff and the defendants. And I noticed that there appears to be there appears to be a fixed water charge and an unfixed water charge, and a fixed sewer charge and an unfixed sewer charge. And the basis for those charges is questionable or unclear to me. So I think there's a triable issue of fact there. So I would ask the court, based on the fact that there's a pending application for assistance with Neighborhoods, Inc., based on the fact that they do appear to have attempted to contact legal aid for assistance, and based on the fact that I can't proceed any further than I have just done without ensuring their eligibility for our services, completing an intake and a retainer agreement, that the court consider adjourning the matter pursuant to the court rule that authorizes pending applications to be adjourned. Give them a
Well,
chance.
Miss
to get it
Ellsworth,
applied.
let me ask you some questions. They contend you haven't paid any rent since October. So what's your plan?
I'm gonna be honest, 100% honesty. I am actually currently waiting for my school money. That is how I planned on getting everything caught up, including a rearage of $1,300 that I made an agreement of $100, which wasn't from when we were living there, but I got to do what I got to do. So I'm just waiting for that. I just started work last week, so that's gonna help big time as well.
I'm not a big fan. This happens a lot of people using their educational loan money to pay rent arrearages. They never end up getting a degree. They've got a bunch of unpaid student debt, which is not dischargeable, and they're gaming the system to use financial aid money to pay rent. Do you expect a tax refund?
Yes, I'm waiting for that as well. Whichever one's coming first. I'm supposed to get it on the 13th. That's all I'm waiting for.
All right, I'm not inclined to adjourn this. We gave you the number last week. You made one feeble attempt to call. You haven't actually filed anything that shows you filed with Neighborhood Inc. If they do give you assistance, immediately share that with your landlord. You were considerably behind in your rent in October. They worked out a plea agreement or a settlement agreement to try to allow you to stay there. And you paid them back by leaving an arrearage and then not paying 1 penny of rent ever since. There may be issues with the water. There is as I said, this particular complex has got very high water bills, but I'm going to use the number provided. I'm going to ask for a judgment. Now, Miss Ellsworth, you can do two things with this. You can share with Neighborhood Inc. Say, this is how much they say I owe, $2,952.88 through February. Or DHS or other agency. You can stay in contact with your manager and let her know what your intentions are. But you have to pay the entire amount. Let's say Neighborhood Inc. gives you $2,000. You still owe an additional $952. And then on March 1st, you would owe March's rent. But obviously you want to keep your tenancy, but it's been a real rocky road since last summer. And no rent has been paid in 4 months, as in zero. So they can agree to work with you for up to 56 days from today's date. And then they actually have another 56 days before they actually serve the writ. The problem is they have a waiting list of people that would like to rent your apartment. And they may just not want to dink around with this anymore. You either pay the rent or don't. Now, Ms. Bauer contends there may not even be an existing lease. Let's see what I've got, which makes your situation even more tenuous.
Yeah. When we had court back in October, that's when I filled out the application and that, and I'm still waiting for a lease to sign.
I would contend that draws into question their ability to collect anything other than lot rent.
Yeah, that's a good point. If there's no lease, they may not be entitled to anything else. Let's take a look.
Not even my correct address on the court
They
papers.
first filed this in November, the demand for possession, and then nothing's been paid since.
I have not received anything like that, but on also, I received none of my court papers. They're all to the wrong address. It's the correct lot number, but not the correct address. It's to 520 13th Street, lot 71, and that is not where I live.
Where do you live?
1302 Linden Drive, lot 71.
I just addressed that today, Judge Middleton, with Bonnie, and we are trying to get that corrected.
Well, this is all screwed up. What they're evicting is your trailer. Not you. This is another one of lot rent only. I'm not a fan of these. So.
Yeah, it's not even my trailer.
Yes. Well, if you don't have a lease, this is a mess. And Ms. Reed, you inherited this mess. This has been a mess growing for a while. They've had several different owners, and all the old trailer home parks have been bought by large companies, and there's sewer problems and aging infrastructure problems and no lease problems. She's right. You don't have a lease. I don't know how you ask for utilities. I don't know how you ask for anything other than lot rent. So there are a couple options. I am gonna grant Ms. Bauer's request to adjourn this. Who owns the trailer?
My cousin Ashley Rosner.
Yeah, you told me that. Well, she has a stake in this because what they're asking me to do is evict your trailer off that lot. They can do it the correct way, which is file a just cause termination for 3 late rents in a 12-month period. In which case you would have 10 days to move out or 90 days to move or sell the mobile home. But this is an eviction of the lot. Many Michigan judges don't allow it. Judge in Livingston County wrote a very learned opinion about why this is not allowable under the law. Other judges do allow it. I allow it because it lets the defendant try to redeem the lot. If it was a just cause termination, Neighborhood Inc. couldn't give you any money. So anyway, but there you are. No one's paying the rent. You're not paying it. Your cousin's not paying it. It's just sitting there. And so they're asking to evict the trailer. We don't have a lease. So we're gonna have to recalculate all of these numbers. Yeah.
I will say, Judge, that Attorney Reed and I have a history of working well together, and I have a couple of ideas on how this could get resolved as long as Ms. Ellsworth is eligible for our services.
Well, let's look at where to put it. Miss Ellsworth, you haven't exactly been proactive on this. You just didn't pay. They gave you a notice to quit in November. You let the clock tick. You didn't pay anything.
I didn't get
You
a
made
notice to
one-half-
quit in November because they had the
you
wrong
made one
address.
half-hearted attempt to contact legal aid. Next Friday is the 13th. The 16th is a court holiday for President's Day, and then I have an important appointment on Duval Street. No, boy. I've got a couple of cases with Meg, Golden Pond Estates, on February 27th that they're fun too. How about if we continue this? Ms. Reed, does this work for you if we continue it to Friday, February 27th at 10:45?
Yeah, I'm sure that will be fine.
All right, February 27th, 2026 at 10:45. All right, we'll try to figure this out. It's in everybody's interest to maintain this tenancy. The park really doesn't want to tear this trailer off this lot. In fact, it probably can't even be moved. And it's expensive. It costs several $1,000s to take the trailer off the lot. And then there's a question about where do you move it to? It's not just this company, all the parks here in St. Joe County are using this method. Maybe I'll just stop allowing it and make them go back to just cause terminations. But this does allow you to get some emergency assistance. So we got to figure this out. There's no lease, so we got to recalculate the numbers. But you can't just stay there indefinitely without paying any rent at all.
I planned on
And,
paying, I tried to pay February's payment the other day, but I was given the wrong account number to do it through Walmart. So Pam did get with me yesterday, and unfortunately I was at work.
All
so I
right, well,
didn't
go
get
ahead
to
and
make
any
it.
payment you make will be applied to the arrearage.
Okay.
All right, we'll take another crack at this. Essentially, everything we just did was hollow. I told my wife I'd be home by 3 o'clock, but I don't think I'm gonna make it. All right, let's figure out where we are. Any payments you make will be applied to any shortfall. We have to figure that number out. There may be issues, as Ms. Bauer contends, with the water and sewer fee. It'd be easier if ever the water and sewer was in the tenant's name. But this has been an issue in this park for some time. I drive through there from time to time, once a month or so. I drive through there on the way back from Three Rivers to Centerville. And there's a lot of empty slabs there, but there must be 40 or more trailers, and then the stuff around the back. In fact, they don't even have your address right. So you're saying you didn't get some of this stuff in the mail?
No, I didn't receive anything in the mail. I did, Steve did stop by my house the week of court to let me know Pam had some mail for me, and that was just court papers.
All right, so there's all kinds of problems. All the notices went to 520 13th Street, lot 71. And it wasn't live at that address. It's lot 71, but it's not the correct street. All right, you guys are gonna figure this all out, and when I see you on the 27th, you'll have a good solution for me.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you. We got a new batch on Monday. Sarah, thank you for your help.
Thank you. Have a good weekend in Chicago.
All right, thank you. Okay, thank you. I'm gonna stop the live feed, try to repackage and ready to go home.
Thank you, Judge. That's the last case then.
We learned last week that you were in the hospital, and so we adjourned the matter until today. So for you, this is actually your first hearing.
Yeah, my dad died in November, Your Honor, and they served me eviction papers 2 weeks after my dad died. And I've been stuck out in the cold at sub-zero temperatures with no bathroom or toilet or heat. And
well, she claims you're living in an unheated modular building on the property, and the city won't let you do that. But first of all, let me tell you what your rights are as a tenant. You have the right to hire a lawyer. If you cannot pay for one, legal aid attorney may be able to assist you, or you could seek other legal advice. You have a right to have the case heard here in St. Joseph County, where the property is located. You have a right to demand a jury trial. If you wish to have a jury trial, you must make it at your first court appearance, which is today, or file a written demand within 5 days and pay the $50 jury demand fee unless the judge waives the fee for an inability to pay it. If your landlord has asked you to be evicted from your residential property because you haven't paid rent, that is a different type of case. In this case, they don't want you to pay the rent. They just want you to move. You may be able to reach an agreement with a landlord outside of court. I believe it's your sister.
my sister lives in Florida.
Stepmother. Stepmother, all right, stepmother.
I need 30 days, Your Honor. Cause the
All right,
weather, I
well,
can't
just
even
a
get back
minute,
there to move my stuff out. 'cause
just
of
a
snow and
minute,
ice.
just a minute. You may be able to reach an agreement by going through mediation, but so far, nobody ever has. All right, their contention is you're living in an unheated storage building on the back part of the property. You can't do that in Sturgis Township. So the township, I think, is on her case. So they filed this action to terminate your tenancy. Now, they filed the action back in November. They've been trying to get you to move since November the 19th. It's now February. So we adjourned the matter 1 week because you were in the hospital last week. So we continued the matter until today. The law says you are entitled to one week adjournment, which would adjourn the matter till next Friday, the 13th. Then you would get 10 days from that day to move out, or you would be subject to being evicted. That would be February 23rd. Have you made any arrangements to find a place to go?
I've already got a place, Your Honor, but I can't get my stuff or my animals off the property because of all the snow and the ice. I'm already
Okay.
living somewhere else. I just come to the property to take care of my animals.
Judge, may I offer an observation?
Yes.
Thank you. It is my understanding that Richard has already personally moved out to Dan Trans a few doors down the road. That, if so, that's a good thing. And the other thing is, we would be willing to give him 30 days from today to retrieve or remove his personal property.
You're supposed to be my family friend, Jay. You were friends with my dad. You were at my dad's funeral.
All right, well, Richard, this is a situation where it is what it is. Can you move out within 30 days?
Yeah, I'm trying to find a place for my animals right now.
What kind of animals are we talking about?
I have domestic foxes. I've had them 9 years. I've got domestic foxes. I've had them 9 years. I have not moved out of the property. I'm living somewhere else, but all my stuff is still on the property.
How many fleet foxes are there?
There's 3.
I'm not sure if it's
They're
legal to keep
domesticated.
foxes.
The DNR knows I've had them. I've had them 9 years. It's the
All
only
right.
thing I have
Any
left.
other
My dad's
animals?
dead. Apparently, I don't have any friends no more.
All right, well,
I apologize, Judge Middleton. I'm extremely upset.
you don't need to apologize. This is
I'm still
emotional
dealing with
stuff.
my dad's death. He was my best friend, and I got Jay Feld on top of me now. I'm
All
sorry,
right.
Jay, but this is bad.
Yeah, it
You
is
don't know how
bad.
much I miss my father,
All right, what was your dad's name?
Gerald DeWitt.
I don't know that I knew
He
him.
died November 3rd unexpectedly. And he's the one that bought the building out there and put me in that building. Because my other building burnt down, so he bought me that modular home and put me in that modular home with no heat or electricity. My first building burnt in a fire. They collected the insurance check, and he bought that modular building for me to stay in, so I'd have a place to stay.
Well,
And he died,
obviously,
and then
as
he
you
died
said, you have
6
to,
months later.
well, let me ask this, Mr. DeWitt. Are you willing to move out within 30 days?
Yes,
30
sir.
days from
Yes,
today,
sir. Yes, sir.
that'll be March 6th.
My dad's dead. My dad's gone. There's nothing else for me there.
All right.
But I
There
don't
may be
want
some
anybody
truth
to
in-
hurt my animals or take any of my stuff because I need time to get the snow off the ground so I go back there and get it.
All right, 30 days from today is March 6th. As a practical matter, no writ of eviction would enter until Monday, the 9th at the earliest. You would have 10 days to appeal this until February 16th, 26. Mr. DeWitt, you've
Yes, sir.
indicated that you moved out, you've got your property out of there. There are just some animals, maybe hard to
The
cite.
building's full. I've got all my stuff in the building. I've got both of my boats there, my animals, everything's still there. I
All
moved
right.
to the new
Well, they
place.
don't
I
have to
a duffel
evict you
bag and
on
a couple
March
blankets
6th.
at the new place.
They have 30 days from today, but the point of fact is Once your father passed, the property becomes the property of his wife, who's your stepmother. You're a tenant at sufferance and they want you to move. Apparently you found a place to move to. They just want to get your stuff out of there. Now, you just consented. You do have 5 business days to tell the court if you change your mind or you misunderstood what we just did. But you just agreed to move by March 6th or you'd be subject to being evicted. Where the sheriff comes, puts all the stuff out, and that's not good. So do you
What would you
understand
advise me
that?
to do?
Yes, sir. Say that again.
Could I get till April 1st, Your Honor?
Mr. Felt?
Could I get till April 1st because I have boats and I have
yeah, I
a lot
heard
of
you.
acres of stuff there?
Judge, I think 30 days is more than adequate. He had the whole month of November, December, January to do something and didn't.
Yeah, this is, it would go past the 23rd by 13 days. All right, they're not willing to go to the 1st, but they are willing to go 30 days, which is more than the 10 statutory days. So is that acceptable to you, Mr. DeWitt?
Sure, yeah, that's fine.
All right, I just wish it weren't so. Why don't you go out to the counter and the clerk will give you a copy of this. All right, Mr. Schlock, you know how to get a hold of Mr. Felt if you need to ask him questions. All right, that's a tough spot. Mr. Felt, you're good to go. We're awaiting a consultation in the breakout room. And
thank you.
In fact, last Friday stinked, and so did Wednesday night. They didn't look too good against Minnesota either, so I hold you responsible for that.
Judge, I'm afraid they're losing their mojo.
Yes, I think so.
Dear.
Let's hope and get some back. All right, thanks.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.
It's entitled Dawn McDaniel versus Ashley Suter. This is a property out on Schaefer Road. The plaintiff served a notice to quit on Ms. Suter in December. I don't believe there is a lease. I think there's a claim that the rent, if it was a non-payment of rent, would be over $12,000. Ms. Suter, your landlord wants you to move. What's your response to that?
One, the agreement wasn't even between her and I, it was between Ryan McDaniel and I want to know, I want the breakdown of how she came up with the $78.50 back in December and how she's coming up with $12.50 as of February, because the math is completely wrong on that. The agreement was
she's not asking you to move. You don't have a lease. She served a notice to quit on you in December.
I know,
and
Ryan
you didn't
did
move
too.
within 30 days. And
Yeah,
so
Ryan
she's not
did
asking
too.
at this point for you to pay money. She will be at a future date. Right now, she just wants you to move.
Which I am in the process of working on that as well. Like
Tell me
literally,
about
I have
that.
been on it.
All right, well, the law requires, excuse me, that we adjourn this matter at least 7 days. And today is the 9th. We don't have another available day all the way till the 27th. There's a court holiday in there with President's Day. Then I'm gone for a few days. Are you available on February 17th?
I am.
At 11:10.
Yes, sir.
Now, we don't have a lease. However, she has filed a claim for supplemental damages. So once you move out, we're going to have a hearing about who owes who how much money. People will be placed under oath. They'll have to produce exhibits. You've got questions about how did you come up with this amount that I actually owe? Well, we'll take testimony regarding that. She asked you to move in December, and you didn't move. And so now January and February, we're going to continue this all the way out till February 27th, which is farther than I would like, but I don't have a choice. Then you would get 10 days from that date to move out. So you'd get till March 7th to move, or you would be subject to being evicted, in which case you would owe another month's rent. Now, who is Ryan McDaniel to Ashley McDaniel?
He's the landlord, the owner of the home.
Dawn McDaniel, what's your response to that?
I am also the owner to that home, Your Honor. I'm on the
Who is
deed as well.
Ryan to you?
He is my son, and I'm the one that rented to Ashley, not him.
No, you didn't.
Excuse me, I was
Well, Ashley, I
talking.
guess maybe you shouldn't be so flippant about it. Apparently rent hasn't been paid in a long time. She wants you to move, and
I'm
unless you want to
moving
have like,
because I'm done dealing with this lady. She's denied my payment because of her
Sweetheart.
upset about paying the $800 a month like Ryan and I agreed on because the home needs work on, and I've had to put money into it.
It's not
And
true.
well, at
Ryan and
this
I
point,
agree.
she's not asking you for any money. She's simply asking you to move.
Oh, I'm moving because I'm done dealing with this lady. She's crazy.
All right, now, if you do move, you need to turn in your keys and give your forwarding address in writing within 4 days. That isn't the end of it. She's gonna sue you for money. So we're gonna have to have a hearing about calculating who owes who how much. But this part is just about possession. So if you move between now and February 27th, you don't even need to show up for the hearing. But if you do move, you need to turn in the keys and give your forwarding address within 4 days of
Who
your
do I
moving.
give my forwarding address to? Because I don't want Dawn to have it at all.
Well, she's entitled to have it because she needs to send you any security deposit
didn't-
information, and she needs you to have you get notice for further court proceedings regarding the money damages.
She didn't even send me the paperwork for court today. I had my dad call me because she told my uncle about it. And my dad called me at like 7, 8 o'clock at night, was like, did you know you have court on the 9th? And I'm like, no, I didn't know nothing about it. And Bruce just brought me my paperwork. I want to say Wednesday it was. So I never received anything about
You
court.
got personally served on February the 4th.
No,
yeah.
I did not. I did not. I promise you I did not.
Well, if I was gonna put money on you or Bruce Morse, I'd put my money on Bruce Morse. Let's look at the proof
Oh,
of
no,
service.
Bruce did. Bruce did, yes. I thought you were talking about Dawn because when I
No,
called
Bruce
up there,
Morse gave you
that's
a
my
personal
bad.
service.
Yeah, he did. I got a hold of him because he tried to come to the house when I was at work, and I'm normally not home until after 4 o'clock.
All right. Well, if you do move between now and February 27th, you need to turn in your keys and your forwarding address within 4 days of your moving.
Absolutely.
Then we'll have a later hearing regarding money damages, but this is just about possession. If you have not moved by that date, we'll have a hearing at a later, on February 27th at 11:10, in which case I'd give you 10 more days to move or be subject to being evicted. All right, do you have any questions?
So I had to put a whole new propane tank in and pay for it. How do I go about, because Ryan is the one that's gonna have to come there so the company can come pick it up, because the money that I put into it, they said when they pick it up, they'll reimburse me my money. How do I go about that?
For her, because I'm on the deed and I'm part owner, so I can
All
do
right,
that.
well, I
Not
guess
in your
that's
name.
between you and the propane company, or we'll take that up in the money damage hearing. This is just about the possession.
Okay.
Thank you, Your
All
Honor.
right, all right. If you're gone by the 27th, you don't need to be here. If you're not, we'll have further
Okay.
hearing at the time. All right, Ms. McDaniel, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, this is a land contract that is alleged to be in foreclosure. The allegation is that the original selling price was $70,000. Time of filing, the principal balance was $53,804, meaning less than 50% has been paid. And the current arrearage was, at the time of filing, $10,427.08. Mr. Zemansky or Mr. Sutteroff, what's the circumstance here?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. May it please the court. Keith Satiroff, P42904, appearing on behalf of the plaintiff. Yeah, Your Honor, records from First National show that Mr. Szymanski's owing from September 1st through February 1st payments. He has additional late charges, and there are other fees for placed insurance collection fees. We had to order title work to make sure that the title's clear. We have some filing fees and service fees. So we have a total of $11,679.49 due as of today. Mr. Szymanski has paid less than half of the principal. Therefore, he would have a 90-day redemption period, and he could pay that amount during the 90 days following entry of a judgment.
Mr. Soderoff, I've been mispronouncing your name incorrectly every time I call you. It's Satirov, and I will try to remember that the next time we have a case. Mr. Szymanski, what's your plan? Do you plan to try to get caught up on this property? Or?
I have been working with Whitney Kachaki, who is, I'm not sure of her position, but she has something to do with their payment/collection department.
All right, who is that person?
Whitney Kachaki, C-O-C-H-O, or Kachowski, sorry. C-O-C-H-O-S-K-I. She is a representative of First National Bank of America. I've been working with her for the last week. I have secured through the VA assistance group in St. Joseph County, working with Jared and Stoney, a $3,500 grant. I paid $1,400 on Friday, and Whitney said that would be enough to take it out of foreclosure, and that the additional fees would be tacked onto what I owe. It would bring me current up to February. That's what I have been working on. So I am not wanting to give up the house. I'm doing what I can to save it. And working with Whitney, I sent her, like I said, I paid $1,400 this last Friday, and the paperwork, and she's working with Jared from the Veterans Office. The paperwork is being submitted today, since I paid the required amount by the Veterans group to bring it up to an agreeable amount. And that grant should be given to FNB within the next, I'm guessing, 5 to 10 working days.
So that would be $3,500.
Yeah, that would be 35 on top of it. And Whitney said that that would be fine, and that would take it out of foreclosure and put me into a situation where the rest of the money would be tacked on to what I owe. Probably additional payments at the end of my term.
The law requires that I continue this matter at least 7 days. You may have heard me at the tail end of the last case. We're losing a couple of landlord-tenant days with a vacation and a court holiday. So I have to continue this to 11:20 a.m. on Friday, February 27th.
Hopefully by then it'll be all done.
All right, that would be helpful. Mr. Satirov, does that date work for you?
Yes, it does, Your Honor.
And what was the time again, Your Honor?
11:20. Now, let's talk about this. If it is all resolved, great. And if it's not resolved, we'll discuss it further on the 27th. As Mr. Satirov said, this is a land contract where less than 50% of the purchase price has been paid. So there's an additional 90 days from February 27th if everything hasn't been pinned down by that date. If it has, great. If the bank is satisfied and you got some VA assistance and you wish to maintain the property, everybody wins. But we will discuss it further on February 27th at 11:20, unless the whole matter is resolved. If it isn't, we will address it at that time.
Thank you, Your Honor. Is there any way that we can be put into a breakout room where I can get his phone number and email address?
Yes, let me do that right now. Mr. Szymanski, I'll let you talk privately with Mr. Satirov about logistical issues, and we'll make sure everybody's on the same page. So just hit the button that says join and you should be able to go into it.
All right. Thank you, Your Honor. Have a great day.
This is a demand for non-payment of rent. Rent is alleged to be $190 a week, and at the time of filing, it was $3,664.34. According to Mr. Davidson, the current amount through February, through, I'm not sure what day. Today, is $3,556.34. Rent to retain, plus an additional $841, which comes to today, for a total of $4,397. They're also alleging there's $280 of late fees, plus court costs. Gotta break that out. 55 plus 56.45 plus $75 statutory attorney fee. Court costs would be $186.45. So total that they're claiming, this says rent is due on Friday, so I'll make it through this Friday. As of February 13th, you owe $4,864.22. That is their contention. Ms. Villock, what's your position?
Well, it says rent is paid through November 16th, so I'm confused on how the total rent is $3,556 if rent is paid through November 16th.
Well, I don't know. November 16th. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 weeks times 190 is 2470. So I can't tell. Let's see here. The demand for possession of rent that was filed
in January
on 12/8. Well, all right. Let's assume that we've got to figure out the number. What's your plan? It's still substantial, and you haven't paid any rent since November. So are you going to try to pay, or?
No, I should be moved out by this week.
All right. All right. Well, don't think we went through the advice of rights. Did we, Meg?
That's a good question. I don't think you did either.
I wasn't sure if she was listening or available when you did it the last time.
She wasn't. So, all right, you're a tenant in a landlord-tenant proceeding, and they wish you to move and or pay the rent. There's a dispute as to how much the rent is. The defendant's contention is it's $4,397.77 plus $280 in late fees. At any rate, you have the right to seek legal advice. You can hire an attorney if you wish, or you can see if legal aid would represent you in this matter. You have a right to demand a jury trial. If you wish to have a jury trial, you must tell us at this first court appearance or file a written demand within 5 days and pay the $50 jury demand fee unless the judge waives it for your inability to pay it. If your landlord has asked you to be evicted from a residential property because you haven't paid rent, you may be able to get assistance from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, a local coordinated entry agency, a housing assessment and resource agency, or if you're a veteran, you may be eligible for some veterans benefits. We sent that information to you with the summons and complaint. You do not need a judgment against you to get help from the places listed above. A copy of the summons and complaint are sufficient. You may be able to reach an agreement with the landlord by going through community dispute resolution, also known as mediation. If you're interested and they're interested, we can help set it up. Or if you can resolve the matter agreeing to move by a certain date, they could file what is called a conditional order of dismissal. If you do move, you need to turn in your keys and give your forwarding address within 4 days of your moving. How soon do you think that you will move?
I'm almost out. I just have the last bit of stuff. It's just been so cold to really finish it. So I could have it out probably 2 or 3 days.
All right. Well,
Your Honor.
yes.
Mr. Myers is out of town. She can drop it off at my office if she needs to.
All right, drop the keys off at Mr. Davidson's office. His office is on Portage Street.
In Three Rivers. Okay.
Yes, it's been there for more than 100 years, but it's Matthew Davidson Law Office on Portage Street in Three Rivers. Then after you move out, we may have a later hearing regarding money damages. This point is just possession. So I'm going to go ahead and leave this on. I'm going to continue this to
February 27th.
Yes, February 27th, 2026 at Matthew. Let's see if you have anything else on there that day.
I don't believe so.
Doesn't look like it.
Actually, let me see if I'm available.
11:30.
I'm available.
Very good. Now, we probably won't even need a hearing. If you've moved out by that date, Ms. Philwalk, we don't need to address it. If you have not, we'll address it at that time. We'll try to figure out what the exact correct number is that is owed. And then you'd get 10 days from that day to pay the rent. But each week is additional $190. So the sooner you vacate, the less money they're going to be asking for. Do you have any questions?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the time. Did you say?
11:30.
Yes, thank you. I heard it, I didn't write it down.
Ms. Villock, do you have any questions?
No.
All right, Mr. Mayers, you know the deal. You stay in contact with your lawyer, Mr. Davidson. Hopefully she'll move out, turn in the keys. Then you guys can decide what you wish to do regarding any back rent. All right, thank you. Ms. Villock, I'll remove you from this session.
This is Rebecca.
All right, Rebecca, this is the time for your landlord-tenant hearing. We adjourned it from last week. Carolyn McNary is here from the church. Mr. Robert Dutka is here, and Meg Bauer is here from Legal Aid. Before we contacted you, Ms. McNary indicated she's spoken to you on the phone a few days ago. You were going to try to contact Keystone. The people that are causing this to happen, squatters or others, are intermittently there, according to Ms. McNary. And they still want you to move. What's your position?
I'm looking to move,
All right.
and I'm trying to get into the shelter in Centerville.
All right. Well, you have 10 days to do it.
10 days to do it. Okay.
10 days from today. This is filed as a termination of tenancy case. And 10 days from today would be the 19th of February.
Yes.
I'm not ordering a money judgment. It's not about paying any money at this point. It's just about moving. If you don't move, the sheriff can come put your stuff out in the street.
Yes.
That's not good. You also have until February the 19th to appeal this. Now, when you move, you need to turn in your keys and give your.
She's got my keys.
All right, and your
She
forwarding.
took my keys months ago, and I don't know why.
All right.
I never got a lease.
All right. Well, at this point, they're terminating your tenancy. You got other people in there that they don't want in there. You apparently can't get them out, so you're going to be out. All right, you have until February 19th to vacate, or you're subject to being evicted. All right, do you have any questions?
No, I understand.
All right, good luck to
And
you.
it is my intent to move.
Very good. All right, thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you, Jeff.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
She calls me Jeff because we've known each other since the 8th grade, but I don't take any offense. She's in a tough spot. All right, she has 10 days to vacate. This includes all others. I'm gonna put here, yeah, and all other occupants, Mr. Dutka did it. So
Yes,
any
thank you.
squatters that are in this room are also subject to being evicted after 10 days. Mr. Dutka, you did provide a copy of the judgment, which I've
Yep.
signed.
Yep.
Ms. McNary, thank you. And I'm sure you have a waiting list. There's probably somebody who would like to have this unit. All right, I'm glad that you've occupied that church. I didn't realize you were in there. And it's been a while. I guess I didn't connect the dots, but it's nice to have that as a going concern again. All right, thank you. I'll see you next time. Mr.
Thanks,
Dutka, I'll
Judge.
see you too.
Thank you, Judge.
Yep, thank you.
This is V Squared Ventures LLC versus Nicole Banks. File number is 2646LT. Christine Yancey is here for the plaintiff. Both are by Zoom. This was filed as a demand for non-payment of rent. The defendant indicated that she was working with Neighborhood Inc. and perhaps DHS to try to get some emergency assistance. According to Ms. Yancey, December's rent, well, the original rent was $1,100. We have December, January, and February's rent and 3 late fees, which is $3,390. A water bill of $180, and attorney fee, filing fee, postage fee, and service fee is $235.35 for a total of $3,805.35. Ms. Banks, that's what they contend that the arrearage is. What's your response to that?
I'm sorry, Your Honor. The last court date, it was 37 something. Why did it increase?
Well, let's take a
Your
look.
Honor, we added the $75 for today's hearing.
Okay, got it. I am still working with Neighborhood Inc. It took them a couple days to get back to me. Last I heard, she's reaching out to Carissa. I'm not sure the progress with that. She is kind of giving me the runaround with updates. Not Carissa, but Neighborhood Inc.
Christine, I don't know that the law allows you to charge an additional $75 fee. I did allow an additional fee for the damage hearings, but when they changed the court rule during COVID, they didn't change that. So it didn't allow for 2 attorney fees. It only allows for 1. Meg, have you addressed this issue before?
My understanding is that the distinction only comes down to whether there's a contested hearing or not, so that the $175 attorney fee would be appropriate.
That's fine, Your Honor. We're not asking for money damages anyways.
Yes. So that number would be.
And I guess just because you asked.
180 in court costs, or 160.35 in court costs. The date for the writ is 2/19/026. Christine, you'd actually given me 2 judgments, and I just used the other judgment.
Okay, I just updated the date, and then the other one's better. I can send you another one if you prefer, Your Honor. So you don't.
No, that's fine. I just changed the date. All right, now let me tell you a couple of things, Ms. Banks. If you do move, you need to turn in your keys and give your forwarding address in writing within 4 days of your moving. If you stay there, and I say this a lot, it's easier to keep a good tenant in there than to move one out and move another one in. If you get some assistance from Keystone or DHS or other agency, the only thing that cures this is paying the entire amount. So let's say they give you $3,000. The entire amount is $3,750.35. So you would owe the balance. The other thing you need to understand, is they don't have to evict you on February 19th. That's the first day they could do it, but they have 56 days from today to ask for the writ of eviction. So they could agree to work with you to try to get caught up on this amount. Of course, on March 1st, another month's rent will be due. But this is all so far contained within the month of February. So my suggestion is you share this information with Keystone, DHS, Neighborhood Inc., whoever you're working with, show how much is due. And the other suggestion is you stay in contact with Ms. Finneman-Rarick, let her know what your intentions are. She can agree to work with you to get caught up on this, but she doesn't have to. So the amount is $3,730.
$3,730.
And 35 cents.
35.
All right, do you have any questions?
You said she doesn't have, I'm sorry, Your Honor. She doesn't have to work with me because she had already told me before the court date that the 19th comes, that's when the sheriff comes and takes all my stuff.
She said what?
That, I'm sorry. That when the 19th comes, that would be the day that the sheriff comes and takes all my stuff and puts it on the side of the road. Because I asked for a little
All right, well,
leniency.
that is the day unless she gives you more time than that.
Okay. Okay, because she told me she didn't have that kind of, like she said she didn't have the ability to extend it, that the day is the day.
I don't know the answer to that. V Squared Ventures LLC is a limited liability corporation. She may just be one of the officers of the corporation, different than when one landlord simply owns everything. But even so, the management has authority to do that with the apartment complexes. So I don't know. As I said, it is a lot easier to keep a good tenant in there than to move one out and move another one in. This is the houses there on Venture Boulevard.
Yeah.
And there are 54 of those units. There is a waiting list to get in. But there's also turnaround time to get somebody out and get somebody else in there. So I don't know. Maybe her intention is pay the rent or go. That's her right. So if that's what we're operating on, let Neighborhood Inc. know that. Now, if you pay the rent, you're entitled to stay. And then the rent is due again on the first month of March. These are expensive apartments for St. Joe County standards. It's a small unit. Is yours a 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom?
It is a 2-bedroom.
All right, but that's about the going rate right now. It's about $1,000 a month. When I started, it was about $500 a month. All right, hopefully you can salvage this tenancy, but you're gonna have to pay the rent in order to do it. All right, I've signed the order. We'll get that to you. If you want it sooner, you can come up here to the courthouse and pick it up.
Okay.
All right, Ms. Banks, good luck to you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Sorry, I spoke over you there, Judge. I was just realizing you didn't ask for my legal opinion. You asked if we had encountered that issue before. And the short answer to that question was no, we had not encountered that question before. I didn't mean to take any liberties there.
Well, you didn't, but that was my understanding. It hasn't been litigated here. No one's asked for it again. I would always give a second attorney fee for the contested hearing, but the automatic 7-day subsequent hearing, as you know, $75 is woefully inadequate. You don't remember this, Ms. Yancey does. The fee at one time was $15. And then they raised it to 75 statutory attorney fees. Well, no attorney fee for this is $75. But when they just summarily changed everything during COVID and instituted the second week and the automatic adjournment and other changes that came in effect at that time, they did not address this. I think at that point, they didn't want to raise anybody's rent any higher than it was. So we'll just go with the first one. All right, our next matter is 2645. That's set for 4 minutes from now. Fenric 3 versus Brandy Brown. This is Lakeview Street in Sturgis. Apparently the Fenric LLC bought some of Mr. Pearson's buildings in Sturgis, including this one, or at least this one.
In light of the conversation we had last week about rents, I thought about it. So I had a conversation with a guy up here in Kalamazoo on Friday. His rent at a complex just went up from $560 a month to $700 a month. So I thought, man, I felt like I was out of my mind telling you that we saw lower rents up here sometimes. And then it came across my desk just on Friday. So it's just one snapshot, but it's actually a pretty decent place. Not deeply subsidized either.
I just talked to someone in Chicago. They have a small studio apartment. Their rent with a new owner went from $1,200 to $1,450 a month. So went up $250. But rents in Chicago are considered, but most people would probably be happy to find something in Chicago for $1,200 a month. But
that's what I was thinking.
For that young woman, that was a lot of money.
Yeah. Just to fill the time there for a minute.
All right. Well, the world is changing, whether we like it or not. This is a termination of tenancy case, not a non-payment of rent case. Ms. Brown indicated that Fenric LLC took this property over in November, and her lease expired in November, 12/29 or 2/29. Hello, Deputy Myers. Looking for a landlord-tenant client, Brandy Brown. All right, thank you. Bye. All right, security's checked. She isn't here. She isn't always the kind of person that shows up either on the right day or even at the right time, but it is 2:30. She wasn't very happy with the fact that they were asked to terminate her tenancy, but she did understand it. She said she was actively looking for a place to move to. The rent was $1,100 a month, according to her. She is not here, and she's subject to default. Even if she is here, I think she's subject to an order granting 10 days to move. Ms. Yancey, you've done an order with the writ date of February 19th. No money judgment entered at this time. Partial payment will not prevent the writ of eviction. The defendant may be liable for money damages after moving. I always enjoy your cases. I'm glad you're getting back into this. You've got all your judgments done. You got the correct numbers in. You got the right dates in. You got the breakdowns done. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Your Honor.
That's February 9th. The date for the writ is the 19th. You've already got that in there. Don't know whether she's moved or not.
No, she's not, Your Honor.
She's still there.
Yes.
All right. Well, she got 10 days to vacate her. She's subject to being evicted.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.